And now on BBC Two, Giles Smythe and Professor Terence Sinclair analyse more famous speeches from history.
Ask what you can do for your country.
I think we're being run by maniacs for maniacal means ends, you know.
The Labour Party would give all those things up.
Das ich nicht in diesen Jahren für dich eingesetzt habe.
Until they have been taught a lesson which they and the world will never forget.
Free at last! Free at last! Thank God Almighty! We are free at last!
Welcome, and on tonight's show we journey back to 1942. We're going to be analysing Winston Churchill's famous speech to the American Congress, and I'm joined in the studio with Professor Terence Sinclair.
Salutations.
Winston Churchill.
What do I need to say about Sir Winston Churchill that hasn't been said before? The epitome of statesmanship. A rotund gentleman with a glabrous pate, a craftsman in oratory who the nation took to their hearts. Seldom has there been a man who could sway the hearts and minds of the United Kingdom to a uniform mindset.
And tonight's speech is a very fine example of that, when Churchill addressed the US Congress.
Indeed.
Now, we've heard this speech many...
Please, refrain from the collective we.
Okay. But on tonight's show, for the very first time, the viewers are going to hear an unheard portion of the speech. It's never before been broadcast on British television.
We are. And even though we have heard this speech numerous times before, I will alert the viewer with my index finger thus to the neoteric findings.
Now, to our very small section of plebeian viewers, that means new.
No, let's remain academic. It's neoteric. Now play the clip.
Please, roll the clip.
Now.
Please.
Immediately.
Please roll the clip.
Commence.
Please.
Now.
The fact that my American forebears have for so many generations played their part in the life of the United States, and that here I am, an Englishman, welcomed in your midst, makes this experience one of the most moving and thrilling in my life.
I don't know about you, Professor, but that's the second time I've heard that clip, and I get emotional every time.
I concur. The sincerity of this anal bark was absolutely ardent. Now you must remember that this speech was to forge US-Anglo relationships in a time of perilous uncertainty. Now, up until the anal expulsion, we sensed that the incipient stages of the speech were received quite frostily by Congress. You can certainly hear no joy in the room.
To use a metaphor, Professor, the speech was going down like a knackered lift.
I concur. Pre-Trousercough, ice. Post-Trousercough, fire. Now, Congress was absolutely rapturous when Churchill delivered his colonic punctuation. The reason? The unifying language every nation on earth shares. Flatulence.
Could you enlighten our very small proportion of plebeian viewers?
Well, as you know, I'm a global itinerant, and in my first book, The Cross-Pollinated Matrix, I talk about this very subject, flatulence. Now let me tell you, when I was a guest of the Okno Lokma Mwa Man tribe in northeastern Chad, I couldn't help but notice that the consolidation of the group was mediated by the simple agency of a postprandial brown bugle.
Could you simplify that, Professor, for our ill-informed and educated plebeian viewers?
Well, I simply ripped my guts out and the tribe lapped it up, even though downwind it must have smelled like a dead animal. But I, for one, was proud as punch. You see the parallels? This was not an isolated incident. The very same thing happened with Churchill when he dropped his guts in front of Congress. You can hear it. The men were rapturous in their appreciation.
Yes, it truly is a magical moment. But now let's focus on the conspiracy theories surrounding Churchill's one-man salute.
Now, I don't really hold much merit in these outlandish conspiracy theories, but in this case, the truth has indeed come to bear. Now, many people think that this trouser trumpet was just a random emission, but that would be erroneous in the extreme. Now, what Winston Churchill was actually doing was delivering a coded message to the Boche.
So let me get this right, Professor. The arse was talking in code?
Now, to the layman, these trouser cuffs are nothing more than the aftermath of a hearty English breakfast. But to the trained ear, we can translate the message delivered by Winston's sphincter muscles into its verbal equivalent. Now, if we slow down the sections into 3 parts, it's possible to decode the contained message much like our German counterparts did in Berlin. Now play the clip in 3 distinct modulations.
Please play the clip.
Now!
Please play the clip.
Now! Did you hear that? When played at this reduced tempo, it's a very clear message to Hitler.
So what was the message?
Zurück zur Futze.
And in English?
Back off, cunt.
That's a very powerful message, Professor. It could have gone disastrously wrong.
Precisely. And judging by the timbre of Churchill's methane message, he was in danger of following through. Indeed, you can hear it. The air suddenly becomes moist. One more push and Winston was in danger of producing his own rectal cigar. And I wouldn't have wanted to puff on that one.
Let's leave it there, Professor. And join us next week when we will be unearthing more flatulent moments from the historical archive. In next week's show we will analyse a regal quack from Her Majesty the Queen. She delivers a flatulent flourish in one of her most cherished Christmas speeches. See you next week.